Yo, what's up? My name is MOONBOY, and today we're making drum and bass. Let's do this. Drum and bass is definitely one of the most high energy and diverse genres in electronic music. It's literally like my favorite genre right now, and I think it's because there's so many styles you can choose from. There's dance floor DNB. People are making remixes of popular songs or acapellas and turning them into like dance floor anthems. There's also the heavy DNB style, which I did on my last tutorial. Then there's the really beautiful liquid drum and bass. Then there's jump up, which is like dubstep and bass house and all the high energy genres on steroids. And also heavy metal drum and bass. Honestly, this is why I really love drum and bass. It's always evolving and there's so much to explore. So today we're gonna be making a mixture of everything. We're gonna be making some energetic dance floor DNB, hard-hitting basses from jump up, metal elements in there. And just because I want it even crazier, I'm gonna add some like dubstep basses. Step one to making some awesome drum and bass is the drums. Drum and bass is usually around 160 to 180 BPM. We're gonna do the most common 170 BPM. This is the main drum pattern of DNB. I'm gonna be using drum samples from my newest pack, Exodus. We need a hi-hat every 8th note. Because I'm making bass heavy DNB, I'm gonna add one of my fat claps as a snare. Then we're gonna add a kick on every beat. And then to create the classic drum and bass pattern, you move the second kick over to the right like this. Yeah, this sounds gnarly already. Now here's how to spice up your drum and bass beat even more. We're gonna add some accent snares, some cymbals and hi-hats, and some break loops. Here are some other really sick drum patterns you can do with drum and bass. Drums are done. Step number 2, the vibe. This would be the vocals, melodies, chords, the vibe that gives inspiration to the track. We're gonna start with the melody. So for the melody, we're gonna draw some inspiration from one of the most heaviest heavy metal songs, Slayer. God, that riff is so dope. We're gonna turn this into like a Prodigy Pendulum style synth. I'm gonna create an original variation of this melody using the same vibe. Awesome, now we have some really catchy melodies. Now we're gonna make the synth to go along with it. Synth number 1, the hyper lead. I'm so excited to show you this kind of synth. We're gonna make a lead that can also be a really dope bass line. You'll see what I mean. There's 2 key tricks to this synth, starting with a saw wave. By detuning and adding multiple voices, you cause movement and width within the sound, and it's really satisfying. Oh my god, wait, if we turn on mono, legato, and always, put the quarter up, so the pitch bends, does it sound familiar to you? That alone is so dope. Now we're gonna add effects such as phase, flanger, notch filters. All of these work the same in terms of creating this like movement. If you grab an EQ right here, a notch is when you have a dip in the frequency. As you see, when I move this, it creates this satisfying noise. Effects like phase and flanger causes multiple dips and peaks in the EQ, causing it to manipulate the sound and make it kind of warp in such a dope way. And then obviously to combine it all together, we're gonna add a compressor and multiband it. This is what I made. It's not only a sick lead, but it's also a dope re-space line. It's so dope. Totally random, but one of you guys came up to me at a festival and gave me this. After that, you just start messing around with each individual parameter to your liking and you come up with cool results. Here is what I did after carefully crafting each individual effect, and the results sound so sick. Synth number 2, the dance floor lead. love this sound. This is one of the presets in my Eclipse preset pack. It's similar processing to the Hyper Reese, except everything is more of a stab. We have the Unison doing the same thing, but more voices to make it just more wider and just big, so that it feels like this is like an auditorium, you know? Then I have an LFO on the filter, so it kind of stabs it down. You can have it go faster too, or longer. This preset is so versatile, it can literally even be a brass. Synth number 3, the rolling bass. I absolutely love this bass. Literally, it gets people to go crazy. Whenever I hear it live, I just always have to dance. The trick to this bass is having a fast LFO on a low pass filter. To give it grittiness, all you need is like 2 oscillators, 1 saw with some detune, and a spectral wavetable. By changing this oscillator, you can create many different variations. So what's really sick about this bass is that, yes, come in.
That sounds sick.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
Try it out. You can hold it.
Oh, it does that for me.
It does it for
Oh my god, it's so easy.
It's so easy.
MOONBOY.
Now to complete this vibe, I want to add some heavy metal guitar and vocals. And before the drop, we're going to add this insane vocal. Let the chaos consume you! I hired some really talented heavy metal guitarists and vocalists to help me create samples for my new pack, Exodus. And it really came out so sick. Step number 3, the bass. Switch. This is gonna be the sound that blows people's minds, so we have to make it as gnarly as possible. So for the first bass, we're gonna make a big growl. We're gonna start with basic shapes. I love working with sines, saws, and squares because it leaves so much room to manipulate and add a ton of effects without overdoing the sound. So we're going to FM a sine with the square. FM will basically use this waveform and blend it together, causing it to morph and distort. It's really dope. Then we're gonna throw a sync on the square. We're gonna turn this up an octave. So dope already. Now we're gonna throw on combs. Combs filter basically creates a bunch of texture within the sound. So gnarly. And to start with a cool distortion called diode. I'm gonna adjust little parameters here and there. Let's add hyperdimension to make it wide. Make sure it's after the distortion. And now we have a great foundation for a gnarly bass. After that, I added some phase, flanger, compressor, tweaked each part slightly, and so we got this monster now. So nasty. These are some really sick techniques I've been spending a lot of time learning and building. I included so many presets like these in my new project Exodus. Next bass, the Earthquake. I made this really crazy 808 style bass with a really intense pitch bend. Okay, so the main trick of this bass is having a sine wave with the big pitch bend. I have this LFO3 controlling the master tune. Next is the really secret trick I love to do in my basses. I will add a noise and then I will combine it with distortion. So when you have noise, a sine wave, and distortion, mushing them together, it makes it sound like the speakers are rumbling. I added a phaser and then a compressor to just enhance the sound. And if you want to give it more grit, just throw on a bend and then raise it up. Let's mess with the speed. I want to start throwing all kinds of basses in here and make it crazy energetic. Let's add a jump up style dirty bass. I'm actually going to use samples from my newest Exodus sample pack. That one's kind of nice. Ooh, that's nice too. Oof, that's it right there. Let's make it go ba 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 ba. Next, I want a bass that goes and let's start combining some of the basses together. Final bass, the screamer. So this bass is actually similar to the first technique I was teaching you about of the FM process. I use one saw to FM into another saw wave. But oscillator B, the one that's being FM'd, is on a higher pitch, but not just a higher pitch, a harmonic note above the root note. So I put it 4 semitones above. The note sweet spots for harmonic notes with FM especially is usually 4 and 7. Obviously 12, that's another octave. It's basically making a bassline chord. Let's hear these basses in action. Chaos consume you! Switch! Dang, that sounded crazy. I can imagine this going insane at a festival. I bet you're ready to make some wild drum and bass now. Well, I have great news for you. In celebration of my new sample pack Exodus, I'm hosting a massive producer contest. I'm proud to say that these contests are one of the biggest competitions in the electronic music community. With literally thousands of producers participating, I always discover such amazing talent. For the winner of the contest, I'm giving away some awesome producer gear. A pair of my favorite monitors, the Yamaha HS5s. These are so dope. As well as a music production laptop, the new M2 MacBook Pro, fully equipped with music production software from me. I'm also going to be featuring multiple winners across all my platforms. All you have to do to enter the contest is download the free Exodus beta sample pack in the description below. Exodus is a massive collection of presets and samples for dance music. Everything you need to make a full song from scratch. Drum samples, serum presets, melodies. I've even added a huge vocal library as well, from UK grime to heavy metal to even dance pop. Exodus comes out August 18th, and there's only going to be 500 licenses available. Final step, the song structure. Chaos consume you! Switch. When making a dirty drop, there's a few things you can do to surprise people and catch their attention and then just blow their minds. It's called the fake out. Instead of dropping it right away, you tease the bass and then maybe like do a drum fill and then drop it. And for some reason that just like always sounds so satisfying. Especially like live, people do it on purpose, you know? It's like almost like every single song is never dropped.
Wait, let's make it a bit more fruity.
Gets them every time. Yeah, so you rise it, pre-drop, and then don't drop it, you trick them. Drum fill, and then actually drop it. So gnarly. Alright, on to the final result. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really, really helps my channel out. I appreciate you guys so much. Alright, let's get into this. Chaos consume you!